Hi, my name is William Coffey, and I have just come back from the Warrior Within camp with James Greenshields, or Cheese. I went to the camp not really knowing what to expect. I'm fortunate enough to train a rugby team, and they all informed me on the adventure they went on and a few things that I was going to have to keep my mind open to. I went on the camp pretty convinced I knew who I was. I knew I was lost, but I knew who I was. And when I went on the camp, I discovered I had no idea who I was. What I discovered on this camp has now absolutely changed my life. I've come back with targets and goals set for my life that are based on emotions and feelings, not so much on having stuff. And after writing them down, not only has it given me such a motivation, such a drive to move towards them, but I just generally feel happier in my everyday life. Discovering that I had some anger issues underlying, I might not have seemed angry, but I always had an aura about me that was just grumpy and aggressive. And to discover that and realize that the underlying issue was vulnerability was a really, really cool moment for me. The meditation techniques that Cheese taught us, I'm going to use a lot. I find that I'm almost ADD with my mind not being able to stop and relax, and it's really great to be able to ground myself and center myself and find out what it is that's causing me not to focus and look through it. Look through that emotion and see out the other side and calm my nerves or calm my aggression. I tested myself on the trip. I have a very deep fear of being lonely, being the last person awake. And I was fortunate enough to go and camp in a bush, deep in the bush by myself, and very scared the whole entire time. But through techniques that Cheese taught me and used upon me, I survived. And that's the first time in 27 years I've ever been able to do that. And this is coming from a guy who hasn't so much as been able to sleep away from home till he was 21 due to the fear of being the last person awake and being lonely. So that was a big moment for me. Connecting with the environment was something really cool. I finished up, and funnily enough, I went straight away and got this Avatar as soon as I finished, because after the experiences I went through, it's cool because Cheese lets you know they might be a little bit weird, a little bit strange, a little bit tree huggish. And that's fine. If you want to hold back and kind of not open yourself up, you're not going to get anything from the experience. But I wasn't there to be scared anymore. I was there to show my vulnerability, which is my biggest issue. So I submitted completely to the idea that I could possibly feel the energy of a tree and talk to it. And it gave me a pretty cool message. And then we came back, and from then on I just felt this safety being amongst all these trees. I learned some really cool lessons and some crazy meditation techniques and some really cool ones. But the highlight of the entire trip was standing on a hill overlooking this massive, wide landscape of the outback of Newcastle, Australia, which is huge. And to stand there grounded with me and two other men I didn't know from a bar of soap who I'd become close friends with, and to chant our mantra into this cloudy abyss that we couldn't see anything. We knew the scenery was there because we'd been there for 4 days already, but we were stuck in a cloud. And it was great because this one guy that was with us, he was very held back, and he just straight away sung his mantra out in this deep voice, and the clouds moved and swirled and the environment was shown, and we couldn't help but laugh because it was so spooky. And then I had a go at it and didn't quite get it right. And the second time I had another go after a little bit of guidance, and the same thing occurred. The clouds opened. And it was the spookiest but most safe feeling I've ever had. And then all three of us chanted our mantra one after the other, and we sat there and we waited, and Cheese told us, look, the universe is going to tell you something. And so we sat and we waited. And about 10 seconds, all of a sudden this roaring sound was flying through the bush. And I turned almost. It sounded like 100 tractors almost. And it was this gust of wind that hit us in the back and then just dissipated all the cloud. And we just giggled. And it was just such joy, but such satisfaction that we had just connected with the universe. And there was a moment where we all turned and just said, "You still believe in coincidence?" And it was amazing. And so the main thing I took away from this whole experience is that whoever I dislike or whatever I dislike is often a reflection of me. And I realise I have some issues with my mother because she is identical to me. So I'm taking steps, and they are hard. They are tough steps. I tried for the first time last night, and I'm holding back a lot because I don't want to go into my old ways. I want to learn to control my aggression to focus, my anger to focus, my frustration to focus. But I learnt that the most calming thing is to know that whatever the universe gives you is for a reason. So if anything occurs in your life which is horrible or discomforting or tragic, you must understand that it was created by the universe to propel you in a direction you need to go. That was huge for me because it gave me sense to why I'd been through what I've been through, and also calms my nerves when I'm in a bad situation, which is no longer perceived as bad, it's perceived as perfect. It's just a situation that my body needs to deal with. So that was the coolest thing I learnt. I learned 100 different things. Pretty interesting for a guy who thought he was pretty switched on, realising I'm miles from it and enjoying that fact that I have a lot to work on. I will definitely be continuing my work with cheese, whatever the cost, because you can't put a price on what he does for your life. And the best thing is, he doesn't do it, he lets you do it. And that's great, because when I come home, I don't need cheese. But when I come home, I still have him in spirit helping me along. He grabs your hand and he walks with you to your target. He doesn't say, that's where you're going, mate, hurry up and get there. I'll be at the end waiting. He says, let's go together. That's a pretty cool feeling. So all in all, it's the best thing I've ever done in my life, the weekend away. And I thank all those involved. I thank the two guys I was with. And James Greenshields, you're an impressive man, my friend. And I appreciate what you've done for my life. Cheers, mate.